Hi there to those that have just joined us. It's great to have you with us. And we'll be starting our final sort of formal marriage course webinar in a few moments. Just as we wait for a few more people to join us. But it's really wonderful to have you with us. Great to have you back with us if you've been with us the last few weeks. And brilliant to have you with us if this is your first week. Just so you know, that the last two webinars have been recorded. They're on our site, and it'll be the same with this one. We'll be recording it today, and it'll be available on our website. So what we've been doing, I say this every week, so apologies if you've heard me every week saying it, but what we have been doing, which has been quite nice, is just changing our name just to let people know where we are in the country. So we've just been putting our first name and then just where we are in the country just after, and it gives us a bit of an idea where everyone's coming from. So I'll just do that myself. I don't know if I can talk and type.
We'll find out if you're a multitasker.
Exactly. Am I a multitasker? There we go, we've done it. But yeah, if you wanted to take a few moments to do that, we'll be starting very shortly. It's great to have you with us. It's been a really wonderful 3 webinars where we've been learning about the marriage course. I'm excited to find out more today. So it'll be the similar pattern from our last 2. John will be presenting for us shortly, and Dan's in the background doing tech, and I'm here hosting and hopefully making you feel welcome. Hopefully everyone has a cup of tea or a glass of wine on this bank holiday weekend or a nice beverage to enjoy. But yeah, it's great to be back. I've really been enjoying them, so hopefully that's the same with everyone else.
Is it sunny for you, Beth? Sorry, I'm just wondering because
it is very sunny. I don't know if you can see.
Very nice.
Some lovely sunshine outside.
Carlo, yeah. Heather looks pretty nicely bathed in sunshine there in Carlo as well, is it?
Oh.
No, it's just a well-lit room. It looks really sunny where you are.
Millstones.
Oh, really?
Oh, no.
Wow. It's quite the way to start your bank holiday weekend.
Oh, it's definitely been a funny week for weather after our lovely weather last week. Thought the summer was well and truly upon us, but I'm not so sure now. We may still be in the depths of winter. But yeah, we'll be starting very shortly. So just to say again, please do be using the chat throughout if there's questions that come up and throughout, or any little comments. We really actually love to hear from you and hear what you're thinking and how everything's going. We will have, particularly today, we are going to have a period of sort of extended questions at the end. So you can even be thinking now if you have any questions that you want to ask. But it's really great to have you with us for our final sort of formal Alpha webinar. I'm sure we will be doing more of these in the next number of weeks and months as we wait to see what's happening. And we'll just wait for a few more minutes just to see if anyone else is joining us. While we're waiting, just to say a few things. These webinars are recorded. They're available on our website. I'll put the website up in a second. And also, a lot of the information we're giving comes from a PDF file on how to run the marriage course. I've put that in the chat before. I'll just put it in again. But please do have a look at this after. It's an absolutely brilliant resource that John has worked on, and it's really full of lots of things we've talked about, lots of tips and tricks and that sort of thing. So yeah, we're starting very shortly. Just checking I didn't forget to say anything. And hopefully please do make sure you have a nice cup of tea or coffee, the Alpha hospitality. Definitely.
You'll have to make it yourself this
improves the
time around.
experience.
But yeah.
Can I do a little advert for my marriage course?
Oh,
We're going to be looking at that, Tanya. So when we come to that, I will pass it over to you.
yeah.
Front and center, Tanya.
Gotta get a script ready.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. Tanya, you're letting me off the hook because the advert's already in. But I'll hand over to yourself.
Cool. Yeah, so we will be looking at that later on because Tanya will be running it, so we will hear all about that. Oh dear, Jane, it's a tiring one this morning, is it? This afternoon? I don't even know what time it is. It all just seems the same when you're on Zoom.
The bank holiday weekend is coming, John. Don't worry. Bank holiday weekend is coming. And this is just a random fact that I found out today, only because a lot of my family actually lives in the UK. They have their bank holiday next Friday and not on Monday, which is very unusual. But it was for the Victory in Europe 75th anniversary, is next Friday. Unfortunately, not going to be much of an anniversary, I imagine, in lockdown. But yeah, I'm glad that we're actually on Monday. I'm glad our bank holiday is this weekend. I'm ready for a day off.
Lovely. Well, shall we, without further ado then, Beth? You've done super job guiding us to this, so thank you very much. Really appreciate that. The V-Day, it's incredible, 75 years. I wasn't alive when it happened first. I didn't realize that made it sound like I was alive when it first happened, but I wasn't. That's amazing. You're all very welcome today. It's really good to see you. Thank you for joining us again on a Friday of the bank holiday. I was just saying to Dan and Beth there before we started that I remember when we were planning out these webinars, the last one was happening on the 1st of May, and it seemed really far, far away into the distance, but here we are in May. We'll see what kind of summer is awaiting us later on, but hopefully we will have a good time today. We've got plenty to kind of get through to chat about, to look at as well, plenty of time for questions and answers as well. So this really is the time to kind of come with everything that you have. So just to thank you all again for coming and for being here. So just to kind of remind us what it is that we are here for, we're just going to share the video of the marriage course again, just to kind of refresh our minds. So just going to stop sharing down screen there, and we will go with this. And I've just realized that I didn't press the important buttons, so you wouldn't have heard anything. So I'm just going to press those again, and we're going to go on again. So here we go.
People take driving lessons to learn how to drive. They spend years studying how to become a doctor. They take months training to run a marathon. But many people go into marriage with absolutely no preparation or training at all. Many years ago, a government minister said to Nikki and me, "We know that a strong society is built on strong families, and strong families are built on strong marriages." That's why we're interested in the marriage and pre-marriage courses.
Today, we face a crisis in the breakdown of marriage and family life, a crisis that's being felt in almost every country around the world. In some countries like our own, marriage rates have fallen to record lows, with many couples choosing to cohabit rather than to marry.
But these cohabiting relationships are proving to be much more fragile than marriage.
This huge need is also a huge opportunity. The marriage and pre-marriage courses offer practical tools for couples wanting to prepare for and build a strong marriage. The courses are based on a Christian biblical understanding of love. That love is not just about our feelings, but about action, making sacrifices for the sake of someone else, controlling our anger, being quick to listen, not burying hurt, but talking to our partner about it, owning our faults and forgiving each other.
It's often the church is just reactive to problems, whereas we should be proactive and help people anticipate the issues. And that's what we found. By doing the marriage course, it addressed so many of the issues that could have been an issue, could have been a problem, and gave us practical tools that have really helped us in our marriage. And that's why we recommend to everybody who comes to our church that they do the marriage course. And if they're thinking of getting married, we recommend they do the pre-marriage course.
These courses are very practical and are applicable to all couples, whether or not they have a Christian faith or indeed any religious faith at all. And hundreds of thousands of couples have experienced a transformation in their relationship as they put these principles for showing love into practice.
The great thing about the marriage course is that it's a way for the local church to actually serve the people in the community, regardless if they have a faith background or not, because it's an opportunity to connect with people and to love them and to serve them. And when people who are outside the church experience being loved and served by people inside the church, that's when they ask us the reason for our hope. And if a church is well organized, then they can say something like, hey, we do this thing called Alpha, come and see.
As local churches reach out to their community, the word gets out about the benefits of investing in a marriage. Gradually, the culture changes, and it becomes increasingly normal for couples to invest in their relationship by coming on a course.
The other training videos will show you how easy this is, and how, when couples in your church get involved in reaching out to others through hosting a course or becoming a support couple, they strengthen their own relationship in the process.
And you start to build a culture of strong marriages, the benefits of which go out and out in wider and wider circles to children, your church, the wider community around you, and ultimately society itself.
Yeah. Let's just stop that there. So that just gives us an idea as to why it is that we might be able to run the marriage course there. And we're just going to look at a few different things today. We're going to just look a little bit back over what we've covered so far in the first two sessions. As Beth has said, they are available, and I'll show you exactly where they are available to watch as we move forward. But just to this point, this is kind of what we covered in the first two sessions. In week one, we very much looked at what the marriage course is. I suppose in a way then what it isn't, but we kind of looked at what it is and the purpose that it has to try to support married couples in your community. We looked at the layout, the fact that it's 7 sessions that happens over a video format, that the couples themselves are the ones who speak together rather than in a wider group, which happens in the normal, in the mainstream kind of Alpha when it's a group chat, whereas in the marriage course it's between the couple themselves who are able to share. And then also just in looking at exactly how and what is involved in running a marriage course and how to do that. We also looked at why to run the marriage course, and I suppose we looked at that very much along the lines of people who have run it and had positive experiences of it. But we also reflected about, especially in the environment that we're in now, with people in lockdown, and there's talk of it going on for another few weeks, just about how important it is to really invest in marriages at this moment in time, to really help people to feel like they are supported and part of a wider community, and also trying to give people tools to be able to work together through common issues that people might have. Last week, if you remember, was a bit more of a tech-heavy one. We looked very much about how to run the marriage course online and all that was involved in that, especially along the lines of using Zoom as a tool itself, the different ways of sharing videos, the different aspects of that, as well as kind of admitting people, scheduling and bringing people in. We also looked at our team and the importance of having a team to be able to work together, and also what was involved in preparing for any given marriage course to be run. So that's going to be an overview. We're going to be looking very much at the resources today. I just want to take you through that. I know over the past couple of weeks we spoke about a website that we're hoping to have up and running. We've had a few glitches on that, so I just want to take you through how you might be able to get your resources from now on. If you were looking to get the videos for the marriage course, we have a USB, and just what I'm going to do now as well is I'm going to take you through what is on that USB so that you can have an idea of what that looks like and how that works. So I'm just going to share my screen again. Sorry, Dan, to be jumping out in front of you there, if that's okay. So we'll get this marriage course that will be up and running. This will be the USB that you'll get there. Can everybody see that? Yeah. So the USB that's in there, you'll see it comes up with the Marriage Course 2020. So if you open that up, you'll see that it's broken down into 4 sections. We have our training, our session videos, some PDFs, and the trailers. So as you can see there, the trailers is one of the ones that we showed you there. We have the Marriage Course trailer, which is about 1.5 minutes as a good way of trying to get people interested and excited about the marriage course and what it is that we're trying to do. Then we also have a social media version of that, which is about 30 seconds long and really kind of tries to grab people's attention. So this will be something that you'll get as part of the USB as well. It's a good way of sharing what people can look forward to. In the PDF section, you will get a few different things in there that you can look at. We have a how to run the marriage course online. This is what Beth has told you. She sent you a link in the group chat there, and it kind of gives you a very decent overview as to what exactly is involved in running the marriage course online. There's also a PowerPoint, which is about why attend the marriage course. This is a PowerPoint that can be used traditionally if we were all in attending church on our Sundays in the physical capacity. We could share it there, but it's just a handy way of trying to encourage people and let them know what to expect as part of the marriage course and why they should think about attending one of the marriage courses. You would also get, I realize I have misspelled a couple of things on this, so I'm going to have to fix that one up, and I will do that. We have the Marriage Course Leaders Guide, which is the digital version there, and you will be able to open that up, and that is the digital version of this, which we have in a physical capacity here, which lays out everything that you need to know about running a marriage course and what is required. And then another digital PDF there is why run the marriage course, which encapsulates, takes in a lot of the kind of things that we looked in as to why to run the marriage course in week 1, with a lot of the kind of the feedback that people have given, a lot of the testimonies that people have given, and some of the reasons that churches strongly suggest that running the marriage course can be a good thing. So that will be part of what you have there as well. And then you will have the training and the session videos themselves. So the session videos make a lot of sense. You have each of the 7 sessions there, the videos that you will be able to share with everybody that is on that. And so each week you will have everything that you need in there to be able to do it. And then there is the training section, which has 6 videos plus a promo experience, the marriage course video that again can be used to share and encourage people to kind of come along with it. Why run the marriage course is the one that we've just watched here, the 3-minute long one. What is the marriage course gives an overview as to what the marriage course is and what it entails. Creating the experience really looks at what it is atmospherically that the marriage course itself kind of requires. Again, we've looked at that last week when we're looking at how to make the marriage course happen. Building the team is a key video as well. It shows you about exactly what's required. Now, again, this is about building a team for a physical one. We've spoken about what it would look like in a digital capacity, but the content and there's a lot that's in there that is the same. Looking at promoting the course and then some common mistakes and misconceptions that are there as well. So that is the USB that's available. That will help you know what's happening. So I'll stop the share there, and Dan can go back to the PowerPoint that we have. That's okay, buddy? That's great, thank you. So that is what all the videos that you have in there. Then you'll need the materials. As I said, the USB itself will have a digital version of the Leader's Guide on it. So if you would like to get the USB, you'll have that. But there are some people I know who enjoy having a physical book in their hands to be able to kind of make notes on, or to be able to do that. So we have that as part of it as well. That is a really helpful kind of how to, if you've never run one before, everything that you need to know is in that. It's a really handy guide. Then, as we mentioned again last week, there is our guest journal. And we have printed these. These are available. There's versions that are available obviously from the UK, but these ones are specifically Irish. There's been a few small changes that we made in it to make it an Irish specific one. So these are available, and we are the only place, Alpha Ireland are the only place you were able to get these Anyway, so these are a requirement for people who are doing the course. It's really a brilliant workbook that people are able to work alongside together. I know I'm the type of person, when I'm doing something, I love to be able to kind of jot down notes and all that type of stuff. And this really is a super guide to be able to help. But there's an awful lot in there that guides the discussion for the couple themselves. So anytime that the video pauses and there's kind of a few 5-minute conversations that happen just with the couple to be chatting through things, and then one major in-depth conversation that really happens, which is about 30 minutes. And the workbook really encourages and guides people through that, and everything that they need is part of that. So there's a moment of self-reflection. You can kind of fill out what you need on that, and then sit and guide. It guides you through the conversation with your partner and how to share all of that. And that's a really helpful way. It's a super workbook that allows people to kind of bring the course to life, and also hopefully it's something that they can look back on and share together what they have got from there. And then obviously we would also need to be looking at promotion. And as far as promotion goes, obviously there's the trailers that we have that are helpful to be able to share online, or over WhatsApp or whatever it is that you have. And then there's posters and flyers to let people know of what's happening. So we have a very good marketing guy who's working with us, Edward, who's brilliant at taking all the resources and kind of making them work for you. So if you have the particular details of what's happening, so realistically, because all of these are happening obviously online, there'll be a small amount of information rather than the physical space where this is taking place. It's the time and date really that will be on the posters and flyers that you'll be able to hand out to people. And also if you want to put your email address or any information that's required to let people know who to get in touch with to register to be part of that, will be on it. So if you need any of those and you'd like to kind of have some promotional work, please do get in touch with us. The poster work and all that kind of stuff is free, and Edward works away on it, and we pass that along to you. So that gives you an opportunity to be able to get it out there. If you want to print off physical copies yourself, that's obviously up to you, but we'll kind of do the artwork and stuff for you there. But just to give you an overview as to the cost, as to what's involved in this, if you want to have the USB, the one that I kind of brought you through there, with everything that you need on it to be able to run it, that normally would cost €15. But for those who are part of this call, and if you're interested in trying to start one up yourself, or just kind of want to know what's involved in that, we can make one of these available for €7.50, and we'll post that out to you, and you can have there. And as I said, that's absolutely everything that you need is on that. The leader's guide, if you'd like that physical copy of it, the thing to be able to thumb through and all that kind of thing, as you said, the digital version will be on that, but if you like the physical copy, that is €5, and we'll be able to send that out to you as well. And then the guest journal, as we said, we've got these printed up. They're brilliant and an amazing resource for people to have. They normally cost $8.95 for one, but obviously we're aware that we need one per person, so that's 2 per couple. So if you'd like to get these, we'll make them available again at a special rate of 2 for €15. So if it is that you're looking to start one up, you'll be able to get 2 of these for €15, so you can get them for a couple as required. And as you've mentioned, the promotional videos or posters or anything that you require along the promotional side, please do feel free to get in touch with us, and we will share that absolutely for free with everything that you need, and we'll work alongside you and try and make it work as best you can, and we'll do whatever we can to make that happen. So that's just to kind of give you an overview as to the price. Unfortunately, the best way of getting in touch about all this is to come directly to us. So I know that Beth has popped in my information there, either through Tanya in the office or myself, and we'll be able to kind of coordinate that for you. We have a couple of courses that we know about that are starting next week, and so we've been able to kind of, there's a couple of ways of doing it. We can schedule, if you're looking for a bunch of those materials to get out to you, we can schedule delivery for that. If you'd like them individually posted out to the people who have already signed up, we can arrange that too. Now, obviously, just a little bit extra to the cost here are postage and packaging, which is obviously, we can't tell you exactly what that is because it depends how many copies of whichever you would need, but obviously it's just the cost with regards to getting that out to you as well. Yeah, so everything that you need is in that. So far, are we doing all right? Is everything good so far? We know what we're chatting. Brilliant. That's super. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Very quickly. I'm jealous of those who have a cup of tea. I forgot to make a cup of tea before, and I was like, I love a cup of tea because Beth is always talking about it, and I forgot to make one. But an orange juice is just as good. One thing that we kind of talked about in creating the mood was an important thing, trying to help people feel like this is a date night. And I know it's something that Tanya might speak about later on when she's talking about the how they've promoted their own marriage course that will be starting there, about trying to encourage people that this is a date night, this is an opportunity for people to be together. And a really important part of that as well is kind of having some of the music that you're able to share. So if you wanted to share some music, there's a few different ways of doing it. Obviously, if you have it on YouTube or something. But in this instance, I have Spotify. So if you are looking to kind of share that, and this specifically would work either when people are coming in initially to the meeting. It can be helpful to have a little bit of background music in. Obviously, one of the key points is to make sure it's not too loud, so you just have the mix right. So it's something that perhaps you can do with your team just before you kind of go live, just to make sure what it sounds like for everybody in there. Yeah, one of the kind of key things is so how we can share this is to just have the music there. So just make sure that we have the computer sound that's down in the left hand corner there, and share computer sound. Obviously the most important thing when you're sharing this is to make sure that everyone will be able to hear it. And then you would select the Spotify in this instance if you wanted it. Spotify is great. It has all these kind of different romantic dinner piano background music things already set up. I know there's probably a few on YouTube as well, but it's a really good way of just kind of having it in the background. So when the couples are having their conversation, we obviously have them on mute, but they're having their conversation, but they will still be able to hear the music that's being piped through, just to try and help to facilitate this space for them to really feel like this is a moment where they're sharing openly and honestly, and able to feel like there's still something a little bit special about it. So I probably wouldn't go for heavy metal or anything like that, but something that would work nice and be conducive to a good conversation with people would be really, really good. And that's just another way of doing it. So that's you just go into it, you share your screen normally, make sure you are able to share your computer sound, have that clicked, and whichever thing that you're using, whether it's Spotify or YouTube or whatever it is, and then click share, and you'll be able to share the music when they are speaking. So that was just another way of doing it. I just wanted to mention back about the costs as well. Obviously, one of the things that has happened in the past is that the marriage course has traditionally been one of the courses that perhaps would be paid for, where they'd encourage couples to kind of pay some money to kind of attend it. Now, this would be when they're physically in place and kind of going along to an evening. It's kind of like something where they say, okay, well, we're going to put some dinner on for them, and we're going to make sure that this is a date night completely for you, some food and some wine and kind of nice music and atmosphere and that kind of thing. And usually, the couples might give some money towards that to kind of cover the overheads. Now, obviously, when we're doing it specifically online, it's difficult to be able to provide the couples with some food, but you can encourage them maybe to get a takeaway or something. But there is, the cost involved in setting this up. I think most couples should be in a position to be able to afford the workbooks that are there. And so if you need to kind of recoup the expenses from the couples themselves, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Obviously, there are some churches who decide that it's something that they want to kind of really invest in their couples in this moment in time. That, if they're trying to encourage new people maybe from the community to come on, to come in and be part of something that the church is putting on, and maybe they don't normally go to church, it's a really good way of showing that we're investing in you. We're sending out these nice workbooks and we want you to be part of the community as well. So I just wanted to mention that too. So kind of creating the mood is an important thing to do to ensure that everybody is feeling comfortable and confident in being able to share as well. So yeah, that's very good. Now, for moving forward, one of the things that we've decided to do, because we're aware that we're kind of coming to the end of this webinar and it might not necessarily have all the information that you require, because if you get up and running, you might decide that, okay, there's a few things that aren't working and you might like to tweak some things, or just even to run some ideas past us. So what we're doing now is on Thursdays, From 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., we have the facility for coaching calls, which are going to happen. So it'll be a one-to-one conversation with a member of our team, either myself or someone else is in there. You will pre-book that. So you'd send an email through, or we'll have a facility on the website for you to be able to book that. And it'll be a 45-minute call, an online Zoom call, where you'll be able to sit with one of us and chat through one of the issues that you might have. So it might be a technical issue, or it might be something about the marriage course, or it might be, there is a couple who are on here and they're having this particular issue. What might be a good way of guiding them, or anything like that? Whatever it is that you would like to speak about that you feel that you might need some help from us on. So this is very much what we're proposing as a way forward, that this will be, how we'll move forward. So if it is something that you think you'd like to have a one-to-one troubleshooting or support from in a coaching call, please do feel free to get in touch with us, and we'll put you in for one of them, and we can kind of chat through everything that you need. And hopefully that will be a good way of ensuring that, maybe if you're running, let's say you're running a course and it's on a Monday or a Tuesday or something, and there might be something that happens and you decide, oh, I'd love to just be able to run that by someone in the team, or just to get some thoughts or ideas on that. We're more than open to have those conversations as well. So hopefully that will be something that you will find. These are completely free, and it's just a way of us trying to support you in what you're doing. We're aware that this is kind of a whole new way of being and a whole new way of doing ministry. We really want to make sure that we are supporting you in every way possible, and we want to try and do our best to be able to do that. So this is just one of the initiatives that we have. Hopefully you'll find it of some use, and we're always open for some feedback as well if there's anything that you think that we're missing too. Tanya, I'm going to invite you to speak about this, because this is kind of this took you by surprise as much as anything else, I think, with regards to running the marriage course. So would you mind just sharing a little bit about your marriage course and the idea of how that came up? Oh, and William's there as well. That's very exciting. That's great. So I'll hand over to you guys.
Yeah, much more importantly, it's William's initiative. Let's put him on the spot. Go ahead. Why did you decide to run the marriage course?
Well, actually, this has been a gift for us as a church. So we're very grateful to Alpha Island for saying they want to partner with us and help St. Matthias to be the first church in Ireland to run an online marriage course. It would be wonderful.
And Holy Trinity.
Oh, and Holy Trinity Rathmines. Okay. So both of us. I won't tell everyone that. So no, this is great to be able to do this. And I suspect in our context anyway, there would be lots of people who might be reluctant to turn up at a church hall or a church building, but might feel much more willing to have a go at doing something like this in their own homes on their own terms. So you just come at the right moment, John. We're very, very grateful and very excited to be part of this new venture.
Excellent. And how are you finding it so far? Are you finding that there's a response of people who have been interested in signing up for it?
Yeah, so we've gone national and local. So we've got the parish here. We've got a couple of groups in our parish that have sort of come out of running other ministries. So we've pitched it at them on WhatsApp. And one couple has come out off that, and I think there'll be more. And then there's another couple who are coming on it who generally wouldn't be able to get babysitters and come out together for most things. And they have got, not only have they got time at the moment because they're both working from home, but they've also got the space to make sure the children are okay and be on this together. So that's exactly how they replied. This is why we're able to do this. So that's brilliant. And we've pitched it to Johnstown Killiney, which is our local Catholic church that we often do. We often do Alpha with them. And obviously it's open to all, and we've popped it on Facebook, and we've had some people from Portlaoise who are joining us. Beth has invited some people from the Nazareth community there, and so we've even got a couple joining us from Waterford. So that's the joy of this now. It's local, but it's also able to pull people in fellowship. So obviously any of you are welcome to join as well. Oh, Dan, you're joining, aren't you, from the US? That's amazing.
Fantastic. That is so good.
Dan, I don't know why I'm talking about Waterford and Portlaoise. Dan is joining us.
From Illinois.
Exactly. That's amazing. I think that's brilliant. I think that's one of the...
Sorry, Dan.
you want to be careful there, William. Yeah, you got to get that right. I think it's an amazing opportunity there, actually, to just hear just the opportunity for people who perhaps were thinking about this but never could kind of do it before. And I think that's one of the opportunities that seems to be presenting itself, is that the traditional excuses, not to use excuses in a poor term, but like the issues that come up for people, the reasons that they can't do things, they're becoming fewer and fewer because they are at home, they are available. And in general, a marriage course is something that I think a lot of couples will be open to doing, especially kind of, being at home together. And it does seem like an awful lot of responses that kind of come from that. I know one of the ladies who got in touch as well was saying, I think she's from Galway, and she said that, it was something that they were just looking for the whole time, that they noticed that they were inside an awful lot, and they wanted to try and do something that had some kind of measure of personal growth in it. You know what I mean? An opportunity to feel that they haven't just kind of used the lockdown to complete Netflix. That they've had an opportunity to kind of really do something as a couple together to be able to develop. And I think it really is brilliant to hear that. So if anybody here was interested in helping out in kind of seeing how it worked in Tanya, is it just that email address there at the bottom that they get in touch with?
I mean, Jane, I see you're in Dorky. If you want any manuals, I've got most of the office supply in my house here. I think we're in 2 kilometre. We could probably stretch that one to drop those for you. And then otherwise, if you contact me on that email, or even on the Alpha one, I'm actually posting some out this afternoon. So I'll post them out, and hopefully we'll get them by Wednesday. And join in. That would be great. And the Netflix thing is really true. I think time has run so that every evening can feel very similar. So it's nice to have a marker in the week.
Yeah, absolutely. And just one thing, because I'm just aware, for the two of you, to try and run something online. I know that you have experience of the Alpha, or you have experience of the marriage course previously, kind of in person. But for kind of running things online, this probably will be one of the first things that you're kind of really offering online course-wise. What was the kind of decision-making process to that? Just to, was it something that was terrifying for you, or did you think, okay, this is something that's worth giving it a shot?
Well, it's hard to. We've been on marriage courses before, and in our parish in Cork, they're veterans at running it, and they run it really, really well. I suppose you sort of think, well, I've seen people run it well, and maybe traditionally our congregation might not have been people we would have imagined turning out for that. But I don't know, William had a light bulb moment, so I'll have to hand over to him.
Well, not so much a light bulb moment, John, but we're quite a little parish here. And if you have to do a traditional marriage course, you need a team of people. You need to set up rooms. You need people to set up the overheads or whatever it is, the videos and welcome and all that sort of thing. Whereas Tanya and I can sit here, let you guys take the strain and just enjoy the evening. So actually for a smaller community, smaller Christian community, you only have to be a handful. I'm almost tempted to quote Jesus, where 2 or 3 are gathered. Even if 2 or 3 are gathered, you could probably run an Alpha course or a marriage course. And I think that is the absolute beauty of this, especially at this time. It's fantastic.
That's brilliant. Well, I really appreciate it. And thank you very much, Tanya and William, for that. And we'll be excited to hear how that goes. And we might let people know just how it goes. Because I think one of the key things there is to just say, as you said, it's a smaller community that you have there, but it's something that this is an opportunity maybe to give it a shot. And that's another thing that I would also suggest is that this might be an opportunity if you think of the people who maybe usually do things in your own church or in your own community. And this might be an opportunity to think beyond them into people who might be able to assist you. So very often it might be a little bit easier to find someone who is adept at tech, who mightn't normally kind of necessarily come along to something. But if you're able to reach out to them and ask them for help, it's a really good way of drawing them in, of letting people know that their skills are needed and warranted and really helpful. So I think that's a really good way of kind of branching out and broadening out, as you said there, William, the kind of traditional teams who you would rely on to run things. So I think there's an excitement that's in there. But as you said, we are really open to having the kind of coaching calls with you. And if there's anything that we can do to help you in what you're doing from then on, please do feel free to get in touch. it's john@alphaireland.org or info@alphaireland.org. And that is my mobile number as well. Feel free to kind of give us a call, and we will kind of chat through and do whatever we can in order to be able to help you. One thing that I'm just going to do now is to show you exactly where you can kind of find the webinars up to this moment, and where you might be able to find the PDF as well that we've been speaking about. So if I do this correctly, it will be a lot better than doing it incorrectly. When you imagine that. So what I'm going to try and do is do this correctly. 1 second. There we go. Share this. So this is our website, the alphaireland.org website. So if you log on to this, you will be able to see that is the normal website. Obviously, there's the My Alpha page there. If you're running an Alpha, that's a good place to go to. But the online section, if you just click on that online at the very top, hopefully you can all see that. That will bring you to our page, which basically looks at everything about how your church can thrive. And we've obviously looked at 3 different ways in these series of webinars. We have Alpha, Alpha Youth, and the marriage course. If you want to find anything else about the marriage course, you can click along there, and that will show you everything that you need to know about running the marriage course online. So this is why run the marriage course. There's a PDF that's there. You can click onto it, and the easy to follow guide for running the TMC online is there as well. And you can get that, and there's plenty of information there about how you can run the marriage course. But if we go back to that online section, it will show you, if you just keep scrolling down past that to the free online training session, you will see how to run the marriage course online. And they're the first 2 weeks there, and you can watch them, or you can open them out onto your onto YouTube and watch them separately. And the third one will be in there, and they will stay up there. And that will just mean that you will be able to watch back these webinars and look at all the tech side of things if needed be, or find out a little bit more about how or why to run the marriage course. All of that stuff will be there, and you will be able to see it. So I'm just worried that we're kind of coming up on the probably a good time to hand over for questions if anybody has. But I just want to say thank you very much to everybody for sticking with us and for being part of this conversation. It's brilliant to see so many people who are interested, and hopefully we'll be able to work together for moving forward.
Thank you, John. That's brilliant. Does anyone have any questions? Any question? I actually have a question, John. Maybe I'll start. And it was just today we're talking about the music, and what I just wanted to know is if you're the person who's leading and you're running, and if you mute your microphone, because obviously say you'll have a conversation but you'll have music playing, will the music still play even
That's a very
if
good
you're
point.
muted?
I have what I think it works in, but let's try this in real time. Now's as good a time as any. So I've got my Spotify up and running in the background. I'm going to mute myself, and we're going to see what happens.
Thank you. I just wondered because it's
Does
so
that work? Did it work?
interesting.
I have no
It
idea.
did. It
It
did.
worked.
That worked
There you
perfectly. And I just wondered because obviously, like most likely, it would be a couple running it, and so I just thought, oh no, do
It's a
you
really
have
good-
to sort of sit there?
Yeah. I didn't even think of that. And that's a really good point to kind of put through. So thanks for asking that question. It's a great question. Yeah. So I think that's a really key point. Actually, it can be really helpful if the people who are running it are actually experiencing it themselves as well. Because I think that adds an air of authenticity. Obviously, if there is a church leader who's running it, or if it's someone who's just kind of running on their own, that's not a problem. But there can be a real strength in a couple themselves who are presenting it, and who are then taking the time to be able to kind of coordinate themselves and to experience it themselves too. That's why I just suggested it's really helpful if you have like a team, different people who are doing different things, so that in the middle of your own conversation, you're not then trying to figure out about the music or the audio or whatever it is too.
Great, thank you. Does anyone have a question?
Yeah.
Oh, go for it, Tanya.
Sorry, it's probably something you answered last week. So is it the same principle as Beth said there? So when we're all waiting to come into the webinars and you have the holding screen and you run the music, that's the same principle with the muting, I presume then, is it, with the music?
Correct. Yeah.
So you can have the hold screen as the share picture, but you run the music, but that's the same, is it?
Yep, that can work as well. One of the things that have been doing, I know that when we've, it's an interesting one. Dan, myself, and Beth, when we were kind of talking about this, we decided not to have music on the holding screen, just when people come in. So if you do have a PowerPoint or a holding screen, you can actually put a bit of music in on that. So that's one of the things that you can do. So obviously it plays kind of on loop as it goes. We decided against that. And I'd be interested, like, actually, Beth, if you don't mind sharing, just as to how you found that when you didn't have the music playing when it came on. How did you find that experience?
I know, we were just basically saying today how it was maybe a bit awkward for people coming on to me being like, "Oh, welcome." So it maybe is partly we thought, oh, is the music distracting, that sort of thing. But actually, if you're waiting for people to join and it's a few minutes before you begin, there is something nice about having something there. You can stop the music and then speak and then start it again, and it maybe does sort of set a tone or an environment rather than it being sort of deathly silence as people arrive to your phone call. So that was us really on reflecting on these webinars, that actually maybe just having a little bit of music to start off sort of sets a very gentle tone sort of for people arriving into the call.
Yeah, absolutely.
So did you embed that music into the first slide as a loop, or do you play it separately on Spotify in the background?
So what I just did there was just playing it on Spotify, but I know that for the other ones, for Alpha Online and for Alpha Youth Online, the audio was embedded in the background of the actual PowerPoint itself. So it was playing on a loop in the background, and it's a relatively simple thing to be able to do on the PowerPoint itself, but it just meant that there's no kind of having to go out and kind of come back in and that type of thing, because it is. And the one thing about Zoom is that it's quite particular about what it shares, in that, if you're choosing to share, earlier when I was kind of sharing the dialogue box, which kind of showing what was on the USB, it won't share anything else beyond that. So I suppose that's just the thing. You have to be careful about what you're sharing and ensuring that that's the thing that you do want to share. And if there's audio in something else, it might make that a little bit more difficult. So if it's possible to kind of synergize a little bit and to put all that together, then that will be a good way of doing it, I think.
Thank you.
Any questions? Any other questions?
Yeah, that's a nice thought there, Dom. We will be kind of putting a lot of stuff up there on social media and that kind of stuff. We're going to be trying to put everything up there that we can, and as we go, and kind of posting the videos and that type of thing. And this is an instance whereby we're really in a position of just kind of learning as we go. We can kind of talk about how we think this should be done, but in reality, we're only ever speaking about good practice until such a time as we've done it over a long period of time to be able to call it best practice. And we would really love, feedback from you guys out there when you're running it, to let us know what is working and what's not working, and that will allow us to be able to then update like what best practice is and that kind of stuff. So please do make sure to listen out and to keep in touch, and do let us know how you're getting on, and we'd be delighted to chat to you.
Absolutely.
Lovely. Well, I don't know whether this means we've answered everything that there possibly is, but as we've said, that there might be some questions, and if you do feel like you need some time to kind of talk through something, we do have those coaching slots. So get in touch and let us know. We'll be happy to kind of chat through something if you feel it's cool. Tanya.
Sorry, John, it's not, you probably said this, and I have been listening obviously over the weeks. Did you suggest having a page of resources you know, like making a page within your PowerPoint that maybe would point people to it. Did you say that?
I didn't, and that's a really good point, actually. Yeah, that's a good point with regards to kind of follow-on resources. Normally, if you're having it kind of in a physical space, you could have a down the back a few of the books and that type of thing. So I think that's a really nice idea. It's one of the other calls that I was on the other day. Someone was speaking about, you know, someone was telling me that, you know, when they're having the online calls, people are being able to kind of share things and share links to things much quicker. And that's a really nice idea. So maybe it's either a slide in a PowerPoint, or it's something in the group chat that you have, you know, a list of these that people are able to kind of click the link or follow the link and find out what these books are, because there's a certain number of resources that are kind of really encouraged to be read, and one of them is the you know, the love languages and that kind of thing. So that's a really good idea.
Yeah, and just beyond even the Christian resources, it's quite good to have links to maybe external organisations, because the marriage course can raise up all sorts of issues, and it's probably beyond the remit of the course, and especially online, you won't be able to sort of resource people. So to have a few strategic external resources, you may even get that from your church leader. They may have some places where they would pastorally point people if particular issues are raised. And if you have those as links, it's a very private way to access it as well. You don't even see somebody going to get a particular leaflet from a table. You know, you can just click a link. So that's actually very handy. So it might be worth investing in a slide like that just to have ready.
Absolutely. I think that is the king. We kind of said that in, I think, the first week, that, you know, this isn't what is the marriage course. It's a place for people to come and kind of strengthen their marriage and give it a service and that kind of thing. But it can bring things up for people. So we're speaking about, you know, particular, you know, if there are professional help that might be needed, or people kind of needed some kind of mediation, that it wasn't necessarily the remit of the course itself to act as that, or the hosts to act as that. But if you had kind of information that people could follow up on as well, available for people to be able to take down too.
Jean, do you want to go for it?
Actually, mine just follows up with what Tanya was talking about. That, and I know we don't know yet because we haven't done this online yet, but even though we're all in our separate homes, there's something an awful lot more intimate about the Zoom call, because we feel like all our heads are kind of in the middle of a room together. So if you were going through, and I know we don't know yet, so this is just a what if scenario, you're going through the marriage course online and you start to physically see with a couple that actually it's getting worse for them instead of better, and almost kind of comparing to the other couples that are kind of happily sitting beside each other, and you can see that kind of things just from body language and facial expressions, it's going the wrong direction. Do you have a conversation with them afterwards? Like, do you get in touch with them afterwards? What would be the right thing to do? Because I can imagine, especially if you kind of have 4 couples, that's 8 people, it would be quite obvious to everybody in the group if that was happening, more so than if you were in a room, you know, outside of lockdown, because everybody will be more focused on each other instead of looking at the screen and looking at all the different faces. How should we deal with that?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, Tanya. I think I'll pop to you in a second. I'm just, from what I'm thinking, I think that normally if this is happening in person, and, you know, there's a conversation that's happening that seems to be kind of going in a place that doesn't seem to be going very well, it can always be helpful to kind of talk to the people afterwards. Now, one of the functions in Zoom I'm just aware of is that you're able to privately message people. When you're the host, you can kind of privately message them, and it can be a nice way of kind of doing that, rather than maybe making a, you know, bringing it front and center, that there's a private message you're able to kind of send them. You can click it up and just say, just want to check in, guys, to make sure that everything's all right. If you require any resources or help, you know, you can let us know. It is one of the things, it's not necessarily down to the presenter or the host couple to be able to kind of fix things, or, you know, because the other thing that I suppose you have to kind of be aware of is that people deal with issues and conflicts in different type of ways, and obviously people's safety is paramount, but there's also different kind of dynamics that people will have. And I know sometimes what might look like something, especially if there's no audio on it, that might look to one couple to be effusive or something, you know, might necessarily be like that for the couple themselves. So it is just trying to obviously tread kind of a little bit lightly on that. But to do that, Tanya, what were you going to mention on that?
Well, I know that we, in a physical space, I know some people have run it in their home and sort of let the couples go into sort of different rooms to do discussions, but we did hear at one point where that wasn't helpful, because actually there is something in physical space about having everybody there and everyone's eyes on everybody that means there's a limit to any potential confrontation that might happen. So we are opening ourselves into a new space here. So there is a temptation to say, well, when you're having that group discussion, take your video off. But actually, I think it'd be really important to say, just make sure you mute your thing. Keep an eye on the screen to see whether the leader's signalling it's coming back. But actually, I think it probably is a good idea to have it, but maybe a generic email afterwards to all couples that just sort of does a universal, if anyone wants to say anything, if anything's, and the links again, or please check in with us. Maybe if you do have an anxiety over one couple, you could tuck it in over what looks like a general email.
Yeah, I'm just going to add something very quickly, but I suppose with Zoom, that is one of the benefits, that you will be in contact with everyone, because everyone will be in contact with you to get the Zoom link. So there is you could definitely do it private message, but I suppose a day later maybe you could do, as Tanya said, that generic email. And I'm quite confident that there is stuff in the training. Obviously it's not related, unfortunately, to Alpha Online, but very much that there is in the training for the marriage course, there is stuff about being ready, having resources available of links and contacts for people to contact, because it isn't, it's about, there's no formal sort of structure to this being marriage counselling or anything like that. It's very much just, for everyone and anyone, but it will bring up stuff for people. So just to have those resources very much available and know them, I suppose, for people.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I think, as we move forward as well, this is probably one of the instances where good practice being shared will help it to become a best practice situation. It's not something that we have best practice yet for the online world. So as we move forward, we'll be sure to share with you anything that kind of comes up with people as they run it too, and be able to make sure that that's available to people.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Well, we like to finish on time, and it looks like we'll finish on time. It's been really wonderful, to have you with us. I know a number of you have been here for all three, and that's been really wonderful. And please do keep in touch with us. Contacting John, we put his email up there a few times, or info. We are definitely here, to support you, to answer questions, to sort of give further guidance or training on anything we've talked about over the last few weeks. But just to finish up, I'll maybe say a prayer if everyone's okay with that. But it really has been great to have you with us, so please enjoy them. Lord, we just thank you for this time that we've had to spend together. We thank you for this such an important topic, Father, to be able to spend time talking about marriage, Lord God, and how valuable it is. And I pray just going forward today, Lord God, that you would just give us confidence in using this resource, Father. I pray that you would put people on our hearts to reach out to and invite. And I just pray for just this new world that we're living in, Lord God, that you would help us with all the practical details, that you would encourage us and support us as we step out for you and for your kingdom. In your name, amen.
Amen.